What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the six-man episode of, the pregame. Everybody's excited. I think we're ready to get into it, but Leafs are up 3-1 in the series coming into this Game 5 in Toronto. John, what are your thoughts on the series so far, and what do they got to do to get over the hump and end it tonight?
Well, I got to tell you, Clem, I liked a lot of what I've seen so far from the boys. What I like most, about where we are, is we're showing that we're a little bit different this year, and I think kudos really goes out to Kyle Dubas here for making the changes away from his philosophy and committing to a harder-nosed, playoff-ready team. I think it's really shown in the way that we have battled back. Who I've loved is Ryan O'Reilly.
Well, yeah, him too. But
I mean,
both those guys that came over in the trade have been absolutely incredible so far in the playoffs, scoring clutch goals constantly, and they're all over the ice.
And you know what? That goal that O'Reilly got in Game 3, I think if we come back, or if we can finally slay the dragon tonight, that is absolutely the turning point of this franchise from a long time. Because how over the years have we hit the goalpost? Have we just missed the net and just run out of time? O'Reilly right there on the doorstep, grimy goal, tapping it in. So I really like that addition there. I really like the way he's been playing. How do you feel about young Matthew Knies?
I think he looks pretty good. He's been one of our better forwards, actually, from like a 60-minute standpoint.
100%.
He's been really good. He's been on the ice for both overtime goals, yada, yada, yada. But from like a consistency standpoint, he's been probably the best Leaf so far in the series. We haven't seen any other player step up for an entire 60 minutes. And this kid's just coming in. This is only his fifth NHL game, technically.
You gotta love it. And you know what? It was the one thing that I really took a little bit of contention with in the beginning when he sat the first game and they were talking about experience. And I just kind of felt like, you know what? This is not your typical kid. This is a guy who's played in the U.S. system for years and played in big games. 2 NCAA finals. It's not like he's a small kid from the Windsor Spitfires that we're bringing up. You know what I mean? Who's never had that experience before. And so I really think it's really showing that he's ready for prime time.
Yes and no. He has still made those very green.
There's a couple of passes. I agree though. Like there's a couple of plays that we all kind of went like, ugh. But you know what? That happens to everybody. Yeah. We're being honest about it, right?
It's definitely in the spotlight, though, because he's very green. He's making some plays, maybe makes the extra stick handle move that, ends up on the other team's stick. It's happened twice so far in the series.
Yeah, there was the one big play early on. I think it was game 1 or game 2 where he was coming out of the zone.
Scored.
Yeah.
Or Perry set up the goal. But they look all right. Tampa's been all over them this series in terms of a physicality standpoint, but that's kind of to be expected with Tampa, and not even from like a clean hit perspective, but like in terms
just everywhere,
they're everywhere. And that brings up another point that I wanted to bring up. Bunting suspension over, not in the lineup. What do you think about that?
Listen, as a Scarborough boy, it hurts me that we don't have him in the lineup, but at the same point in time, I'm not going to lie to you. You're up 3-1. I don't feel like you need to insert Michael Bunting back into this situation right now. He is the last. Like, we got to be honest about what Michael Bunting is, I think. And Michael Bunting, when he's playing with John Tavares, when he's playing with Matthews and Marner, is a 25-goal guy. But he played on the third line for the last month and was largely invisible.
The question is, who isn't a 25-goal guy on that line?
But you understand my point, though, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Then he was invisible for the last month of the season. And you know what? The agitator role, so to speak, that he seems to have kind of played himself into, that's fine on Tuesdays in November. I don't know that that's where we need to be right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And Tanner Jeannot is also out of the lineup.
How? Wow, right? Like where that guy is falling off a cliff.
Yeah, he's not built for the playoffs. He's a good player, a very good all around player, and he's gritty. But I would suspect that Bunting being held in the lineup does have something to do with that. I don't think there's any way that Tanner Jeannot is not in the lineup if Michael Bunting's
If Bunting's
playing.
back in, yeah, that's probably a fair point.
Because I think that likely, more than likely, if Bunting's in the lineup, Tanner Jeannot lines up with him and he fights him right off the draw. Well, as soon as they can.
I mean, you almost, if you're Tampa, you almost have to make him answer the bell after Cernak, right?
And you wonder if that's part of everything's going right now. They don't need, like, it'd be nice to win this game, but if you can win it without putting Bunting in the lineup, it's nice because then you don't have to worry about Tampa taking a run at him. And if Bunting's on the ice, they're also going to be running around trying to take people out in general.
Well, they're going to do that anyways here, right? Like we've got to, like I think right now we've got to survive the first 10 minutes of this period because Tampa's going to come out guns a-blazing with everything they have.
Which is what they've done every game this series. And the issue with it is that they're so beat up after the past 3 years of,
they played a lot of hockey.
If you look at it, they've essentially played another season.
Yeah.
Clearly, an entire another season in 3 seasons. So 4 seasons of hockey, with one of them being playoff hockey in 3 years.
It wears on you.
That's a lot. So
you know what? Something. Speaking of playoff guys and guys who are ready, and we'll give a shout out to our boy Johnny Mack, who was on the Luke Schenn train from day one. Man, what a difference! Like, has he not been seismic?
He's been the best
difference that he's made.
He has the highest XGFA, XGF, basically every stat you can name from a defensive standpoint. He's not just a grindy kind of guy. He's been on for 1 goal in this series. That's 1 5-on-5 goal this series. So that goes to say something.
Totally. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I almost feel like he's making guys play bigger.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Just the boy, like we have not we've talked about this plenty of times, but the missing ingredient for us has almost been, we needed that guy who would allow everybody else to go, yeah, I'll get on that train. I'll totally go. If he's going in the corner, I'll go in the corner. You know what I mean? And I think finally Luke Schenn has got the guys, really buzzing. I love everything.
I don't even think it's just Luke Schenn. I think it's a couple guys. I think it's O'Reilly. I think Achari's one of those guys. I think even the top line, they've been in the corners more. They've been tough. Matthews has been laying hits, which he always does. It's kind of an impact of his game. And
I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I even noticed Nylander finishing checks.
Yeah, here and there. He was terrible.
Listen, hold on. Are we not going to take here or there? We had nothing before. We had him shying away.
I agree. But Nylander, despite 3 assists, was the worst forward for the Leafs in Game 4.
There was, I think you and I would both agree, aside from 10 minutes, there was the 10 minutes of the third period, there was an epic battle going on for who was the worst Leaf forward in Game 4. Those first, you know what? I go back to 4 shots in the first period there. That I don't care what level of hockey you're playing in, 4 shots in a playoff game is not going to get it done.
No, I totally agree. It was a terrible first 10 minutes, first period in general. But the other thing that's been happening, and you're not going to like this, is Sheldon Keefe is out coaching the hell. He's out coaching him. Period. The guys are when the guys show up, it's night and day because of the coaching. The teams are very evenly matched in terms of talent. Relatively, they're pretty fairly matched up. I'd say, anyways. You each have a great top 6. Tampa's decor is kind of floundering right now, but it's come down to when Tampa outplays us, when Tampa outplays the Leafs, they haven't looked dominant. And that's because of coaching. It doesn't matter when they're playing well, they're playing well enough because their stars are going.
Boy, Brent, you know how to get my blood going, don't you?
I'm just telling you. You wrote them off after the second. What was it? The first or second period in Game 4?
So hold on. Let's go back to. I just want to go back to being outcoached. You thought so. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to go. Let's go to Game 1. When we again came out flat to start a playoff series, and 10, 15 seconds into the game on home ice, he pulls Matthews off and starts to match lines in the first period as the home team. I don't know. Right? Like, I don't know about that. Then Samsonov has a terrible game. 3 goals go in. He leaves him in. And then after the game, turns around and says, yeah, I don't know if you're going to be my starter or not.
No, he took him out.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
did. He took him out in the second. But he did after 6 goals went in. After 5 goals went in.
Okay, but has Samsonov looked better ever since?
No, but hold on. Let me finish, though. Let me finish. So then at the end of the game, when he was asked in the press conference about whether or not he would go back to Samsonov, he turned around and said, hey, it's too early to say, and let Samsonov sit all night to wonder if he was going to play the next day.
And did it work?
I mean, I don't know.
Did Samsonov play well in Game 2? Because he looked good.
Yeah, but was it an unforced error is my point. Like I look at that as I say it's an unforced error. The answer is you're obviously going back to Samsonov, right? Everybody in the league knew you were going back to Samsonov. So I wasn't sure what that was about. Now, listen, I'm willing, and I've always said, if he shows me, you can get me back. I'm not a Keith guy. We know this, but you know what? Show me that the boys come out tonight and show me that you're going to coach them to be aggressive, not come out and be sleepy, and I'm in. You can win me back. But I'm not ready to say he's won me back yet. There he is.
It's gone. Can't hear you there, but
Johnny, welcome back, brother.
I think he's just figuring out his.
Yeah, he's trying to test out the old audio there.
No, you're muted on StreamYard. Or it tells
you get Brent, are you hearing the music?
Yeah. That's me.
Oh, that you?
That's background music on that.
What are the predictions, boys? What are you thinking?
Well, we know yours.
Johnny, call him the blowout tonight. I love the confidence coming from you.
Well, I think they're defeated. Just you look at the body language on just the Tampa team in general. I think Vasi said something about he doesn't have any answers, and Cooper's more worried about what his old assistant coach is saying than maybe getting his guys ready.
How good was that?
Is it official that Jeannot's in or out? Do you guys know?
Out.
Wow. So if you think, here's my prediction, okay? They lose tonight. Tampa Bay loses tonight. John Cooper's unemployed.
He's gone, for sure. No
gone.
Question.
And because what this tells me is there's a rift between the front office and the coaching staff. Because
with Jeannot sitting?
What's that?
With Jeannot sitting? Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Brisebois pays what he paid for this guy, and you're not going to put him in a do-or-die game? Over. So, it's unfortunate because, well documented, he's a good coach, but and that tells you something about what's going on. There's a lot of stuff, really. I mean, I know we're talking about the Leafs, and I'm a big McKinnon guy, as you guys know, but his performance last night on that non-call, and I've got a little bit of inside info on the Nikushkin stuff too.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he got injured. There was alcohol involved, and he re-injured his foot. and apparently there was a young woman involved too. So, this is the stuff that happened in the 70s and the 80s, and when you acted up and you did this, in a playoff run or something.
That's a bad fumble.
We're at a point right now where there's media up your butt. No matter what
you can't do anything.
No, can't do anything. So I think if Toronto comes out heavy, it could be over real early. But this is a good hockey club too, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close. I've got the Leafs 3-2.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to go down early. I do. Yeah. I think we might go down 2-love early. But I really there's something about this team that I've seen that with Ryan O'Reilly aboard, just there's a different attitude about this
team.
Coaching,
it's coaching.
You know what, John? You missed it. You missed it earlier. I'm not there yet.
But I told John that major factor in the series is Keefe is out coaching the fuck
100%.
Cooper.
100%. And here's the thing that Keefe is doing that you don't see. And we talked about this on this show, months ago, John. And coaches don't, in the playoffs especially, there's no more teaching, right? We're not gonna change an offensive zone, scheme.
You're going with what you got.
You dance with the girl that brought you. No, 100%.
Yeah. So what your job is in the playoffs is to keep the media off your guys, right? Make the right decisions on the ice, which he's done. Absolutely.
Aside from matching lines in the first period of game one, right?
As much as I love bunting, I'm talking about as a whole here, John, right?
I know.
The series isn't a shift in game one or a period in game four. It's the series. And as much as I love bunting, and I think he's going to be very instrumental if they go on a big run, the right call is what they're doing today. Right?
100%.
And I don't think that call would have happened in the 2 years consecutive that Nazem Kadri did what he did. He would have been right back in, right? And that would have sent the wrong message.
Which, if you look at it now, it may have changed completely. It may have changed the course of the last 10 years.
Absolutely. But you know where this series got won, in my opinion? When it got goofy, when Riley, that kind of,
he lost an edge going in. It wasn't a dirty play.
It wasn't dirty. It wasn't called after review. It was clean hit, but
nothing
it got dirty
wrong with
after that.
Then all hell breaks loose.
And he answered the bell.
Everybody's going cuckoo, and they grabs Austin. You know what?
He answered the bell.
I'm glad Austin kind of, somewhat defended himself, because we've talked about that. He hasn't. But we don't want that guy breaking a hand either. Right?
But he didn't. He had no reason to fight. He's skating away from the play with two sticks in his hand. All he had to do. The fact he got a penalty and went to the box for fighting was kind of a joke.
100%.
That's a textbook
Keith said
instigator.
it perfect. That's a veteran, that's a veteran, wily old team that says, "Hey, you know what?
You're going on the power play."
But here's when I think they won the series, and I think here's where they turned around. And you're right, John O'Reilly. You can just see it. You see him winking at guys.
Absolutely.
And a little smirk, swagger, like, hey, you know what, boys? I don't care if we're down 5-0. We're coming back. But Luke Schenn, and he's the guy we talked about we wanted.
He gave you your flowers.
Johnny, you weren't here, but I promise you, buddy, I gave you the shout out. I said Johnny Mac said, and he was on the Luke Schenn train before anybody else got on it.
Yeah.
And boy, you were right. He's been our best defenseman. He looks fantastic.
Been our best defenseman on the ice, and when he stood out there and shielded the guys, he sent
100%.
a message that said, "Hey, boys, nobody's going to push us around anymore. I'm going to laugh at these little punks." And his line to Jeannot, well, at least my trade was worth it.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. Was that ominous?
Perfect.
That ominous? Like, it's perfect. Like, I'd go skate by the bench and chirp the coach. Hey, you didn't bring your 6-pick guy in? Right?
Well,
they'll be filling them tonight. The boys will be filling them tonight.
And that's the thing.
Things. The adversity that they kind of, coming back twice, right? These are the things that you're going to talk about, hopefully in a couple of months. It's, these little moments, so to speak, on the way through this journey. These are the things that are gonna make a big difference. And I'm telling you, it's the new guys are coming in and doing what they got to do. Oh, look, my junior Cub reporter Jack just got home. He was at a school dance. Did you dance with the girls? No. How come?
Oh,
Anyway, no, you know what? I'm excited. I think we'll break down the first. But hey, Johnny, it's not a shift. It's not a period.
I'm just saying, John. I'm just saying. Like, I have a tough time. I'm not saying he hasn't been better. I'm not going to say that he's been better, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know what? Hey, he's got his team. You can say what you want. There's DNA evidence here. He's got his team up 3-1 when they came back twice. And,
well, listen.
And they're playing a team that's been in the Cup final the last 3 years.
Listen. Right now, I don't care who's coaching our team. I just want to win. Right? It doesn't matter. Right now, it doesn't matter. We're all on board the train, and we got a chance tonight to exercise a 19-year-old demon. And I feel good about it, boys. I feel good about it. Brent, what's your call tonight on the score?
I got it 5-2.
5-2. Okay.
I think they probably go into the third with a.
So Brent, the format here, what are we doing? We're coming on in the intermissions, right?
Yeah, we're gonna come on in the intermissions, and we'll do a post game too if that's good with you guys.
Perfect. Yeah.
Before we get going here, though, John, I do want to ask, or Johnny Mac, sorry, I do want to ask. I asked John, brought it up to John already. Do you think Jeannot not being in the lineup has something to do with Bunting not being in the lineup either?
You know what? I don't know why, but it sounds really faint. Are you talking about Bunting?
Yeah, Bunting.
Okay, so no Bunting in the lineup. What's the question?
Do you think that played into Jeannot not playing?
No.
No?
You know what?
Oh.
I don't. I think he. You know what? I really don't. I mean, what if Bunting was in? What are they going to put? So they're going to dress him so he runs around and does something stupid.
Well, I think somebody probably. I think Bunting's gonna. If Bunting plays in this series, he has to answer the bell.
Absolutely. But
So-
guess
And Jeannot's probably the guy, though, right?
Oh, Jeannot would have to be the guy.
They don't have anyone else.
But I can tell you right now, Luke Schenn stepped in front of him with 6 stitches in his head.
Yeah.
How great is that? Don't you just love that?
Well, Bunting's not a heavyweight, but he's got to answer the bell 100%. But you don't need to put him in right now, right? You don't.
Which is that's exactly what we said, Johnny. That's exactly what we said.
Yeah, put him in next game and let them run around after him. I'd put him in next game and I'd put him on the 4th line.
Yeah.
And I'd let him play. If they put Jeannot back in, if they somehow lose tonight, put him in. Let Jeannot chase him around, take penalties all night, and tell Bunting don't do a thing. Right?
No, I agree. Bunting, if Bunting gets back into the series, if this series goes into 6-7, Bunting will get back in for sure. They're probably going to run without him until they lose.
All right. Well, are we breaking for the national anthem and off we go?
All right, boys.
We'll be back in however long this period takes.
Go Leafs, go.
Leafs after 1.
Woo!